part of the ASEA family as well. So without much further ado, thank you so much, Maria. We are looking forward to talking to you. So I'm just going to see if I can unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? There we go.
Can you hear me now? Hi.
You
How are you? Kind of cold here in Virginia. I'm Maria McCampbell, and I live here in Northern Virginia, and I'm a mother of 3 children with autism, ages 12, 10, and 6 years old, all different levels of the spectrum. We're a retired military family, and I'm an autism activist, mentor, and a health advocate in my area. I am currently an active member of the TACANAL, Talk About Curing Autism. I'm also a member of the Autism One conferences and of the Generation Rescue run by Jenny McCarthy, and also the Thinking Moms Revolution. So I am a very active person. I'm also a participant in all 3 kids' schools. I have a child in private school, I have a child in public school, and I have a child that I homeschool. So I have a diversified program at home. I also am a spokesman for 3 products. I'm a spokesman for a Desert Farm, just so that you know. I'm a member, a spokesman for Desert Farm Camel's Milk. I'm also a spokesman for Ionized Cleanse Detox Foot Bath. And I also must disclose, I'm also a spokesman for Autism Hope Alliance, nonprofit organization that brings education and also supplements free to homes to anyone in the US. I'm also a spokesman for New Beginning Neutrals. I tend to, when I find a product that works for my kids, I become very passionate for it. And as you can see, I'm a spokesman now for ASEA. And I also, when I feel passionate about something, I back it up, and I love to talk about it, and I become a member of an active community and displaying that product to anyone who wants to hear me. I do want to tell you that we have done it all. There is not one therapy, one supplement that we have not tried. We have done ABA therapy, play therapy, OT, PT, speech therapy, hippotherapy, which is horse therapy, dog therapy. None of the kids like the dogs. We have also done supplements, Dan doctors, then progressed on to MAPS. We have done pediatric GIs. We have gone to Johns Hopkins. We have seen the leading pediatric GI specialist in the nations in the United States, which is Dr. Andrew Krigsman in New York. And we have done almost everything you can think about. I'm very open to things. I research them. So if I haven't heard about it, I'm stumped. That's very unusual. Each 3 of my kids are extremely different. There's a saying, if you've met one child with autism, you've only met one child with autism. Each are unique and different, just like us. And each child I've had to treat separately and distinctively, and keep journals of what worked and what didn't work. I'm going to tell you, all our whole family's on ASEA. And I will speak to you about my daughter, who is Virginia, who's 12 years old. Now, Virginia was diagnosed at 2.5 years old, and it took me 8 doctors to finally figure out that she had autism. By that time, she had recurring ear infections, about over 12. By the age of 2, she had 12 ear infections, yeast infections, severe diaper rash, unable to sleep, croup. She went from a lovely eater to only wanted formula and Cheerios. And then on came chronic diarrhea. Then from there, from chronic diarrhea, because of the inflammation, we went to colitis. Then from colitis, we opened up a whole new pathway to parasites. And then it came self-injury, apraxia, sensory disorders, vitamin D deficiency, iron deficiency. And then because she was a picky eater, she started developed pica, which means that she would eat paper, cardboard, unusual things. So I was seeing many physicians, and I was taking their advice of the regular medical field, and I was suppressing her immune system. Later on, as I was attending seminars in the autism community, I realized from a lot of speakers that we are not to suppress the immune system. We need to heal the immune system. And that is one of the big things with ASEA. And when I started to knock out the medical and started going in with the supplements, the diets, I was able to actually put her Crohn's in remission. So I'm happy. She's 11 years old. I've stopped the Crohn's. She's starting to eat, and then in comes puberty. Puberty is a complete new ball game. Everything that you had done before is now out the window. So with the onset of puberty, what we happened to get was aggression that was spontaneous. 1 minute she was loving, and 1 minute she'd drop you down on the floor and scratch you. We also got seizures, front temporal lobe seizures that are very unpredictable and very hard to spot. But luckily enough that I went to one of the autism conferences and was able to be educated to spot what is a typical autism tic and what is a seizure. So I was able to get her a 24-hour EEG, and they were able to locate her seizures as front temporal lobe, which are not able to use medication for that. So we went to CBD oil. With the CBD oil, we were able to stop all of her seizures. But with the seizures also came other problems. We got regression. So all that work that I piled in and started, got her name and her address and where she lived and reading, disappeared. And so I was starting all over from page one. So now I had an 11-year-old that could not read, could not remember her last name, and forgot that I was her mommy. So I'm doing my research, and I show up at an Autism One conference. And the luck it is, because there's a little bit of faith in every ASEA team member, that I was able to bump into the Samuelsons, and I was able to hear his conference about the redox signaling. I was a little skeptical, but anybody who knows Iris knows you can't get, she likes you for life. So she started talking to me about the redox and about ASEA, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. And I got back from the conference, and there, not even 2 weeks, was a box of ASEA. Maria, I hope your daughter gets well. Please try ASEA. So I started out slowly, like she said, and I started with 2 ounces in the morning. And I started documenting. And we have an ABA company at home who documents behaviors and programs. So like I said, she was not learning anymore. She wasn't reading anymore. She was completely aggressive, pre-menstrual, during her cycle, and after her cycle. So basically 2.5 weeks, I could not send her to school because I was afraid either she would get suspended or severely injure someone. So I'm documenting this, and not even on the first week of ASEA, her behaviors dropped 30%. I was like, could not believe it. And then she went from, what is your name, Virginia, to my name is Virginia McCampbell. And I was slowly gaining things. Someone was like, well, if this is working, let me up it like Iris told me. So now I was using 2 ounces in the morning and 2 ounces in the evening. And this is like, I would say within 2 months. And now, you know, being a mom with autism, I don't see sometimes successes as quickly as other people because I'm so deep in the trenches that it sometimes takes an outsider to see it. And I have a clinic meeting for my daughter with ABA therapy twice a month. So we review programs, and they're like, Maria, what are you giving your daughter? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I giving my daughter? She's like, she is mastering programs. Her aggressions have dropped. She is more cuddly. And I'm like, really? So it's just not me imagining these things? And no, Maria, whatever you're doing, it's working. In the meantime, I had put her on a wait list for one of the top MAPS Dr. Jerry Criswell, who is an author and has facilities in California and Florida. And we were on his wait list because I had put this months before I had met Iris. And he calls me and he said, an opening, a cancellation. Can you see me? I'm dragging the whole family to Indiana because he has an annex office there. And we're sitting in there, and I'm paying money to this doctor to see my daughter. and we're talking about her aggression. He goes, this is October for, on Columbus weekend. And he was like, where's your daughter's aggression in the worst? And I'm like, it was like premenstrual, during her cycle, and after her cycle, it was 90%. It was all day long, crying, scratching, screaming, upset. And he goes, okay, and where is it now? And I'm like, it's dropped 90%. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm giving her ASEA. And he's like, okay, Mom, that sounds good. Can you talk to me about it? So here I am talking to a MAPS doctor about ASEA. It was amazing. And also, I have to admit, CBD helped a lot. And also that I was using 2 other supplements that are help with anxiety, which are Neuroserene and Spectrumate. And I also increased her magnesium because, as you know, all children with autism are deficient. Their minds need to be fed. Their body needs to be fed, and good nutrition. And when they don't eat, you need to supplement. So the doctor says, here is a beta blocker if you need it, but I don't think you're going to fill out this prescription. So we left the appointment with more testing to do, and that's October, and now we're in November. And we just had her second cycle, and we have no behaviors. We have no behaviors, and we sent a chart. You can't see it very well, but in her top, it's at the highest. And then all of a sudden, when you see ASEA is introduced into her life, it drops completely. We sent that off to Dr. Jerry, and he says, I love it. Keep taking the ASEA, and I want to hear more about it. So that is just one aspect of my daughter's life. But, you know, when you have a child in puberty who's aggressive, the first thing that they offer you are mind-controlling psychiatric drugs like Risperdal, and they have so many side effects, and they take away from who she is. I didn't want to go that path. You know, I'm not judging anyone who takes that path, but I wanted her to have a healthy, natural life. And that's one of our mottos in ASEA, is that we want people healthy and happy. And with ASEA, it's opened up her mind. So now she's just another child. She's taken an interest in music, which she had. She's dancing. And anybody who has a child with autism knows your child never plays with toys. Your child lines them up. And sometimes someone asks you, what can I give you for your daughter's birthday? And you're like, give me money for her therapies or supplements because she doesn't play with toys. Well, actually, I can say this year, you can buy her a doll because she's playing with dolls, and she sits with them, and she plays with them, and feeds them, and she sleeps with them. Not only she's doing it, she has her first friend in school. So my daughter's in 6th grade, and she has her first friend that she says hi to without being prompted. And every day they take the bus together, the same school bus. And when they get off of the school bus, she holds her hand and walks her to the classroom. So that is just amazing. And she's more tolerant of her 2 little brothers. She doesn't slam the door on their faces anymore. So that's another plus in our life. But Virginia is growing, and she no longer has regression. She no longer has seizures. She no longer has insomnia. We have cut back on her melatonin. No more melatonin in this house, and no more self-injury. When she would get upset, she would bite her finger till it bled. Well, now she has a beautiful healed finger thanks to Renew and ASEA. So her scar is going away. And that is just with my first child. My second child is also freaking amazing. He is a nonverbal 10-year-old, and he now has fragment speech. So now he's putting 2 words together. He says, that's cool. Yes, Mom. Yes, Dad. He also does like to say no. And he's asking for pizza, Pizza Hut pizza. And so we're getting 2 words, from no words to more words, and to an incredible education connection. All I can tell you is that once I healed my daughter's gut, I was able to break through. And what ASEA allowed is the communication. She was lacking communication. She had been fighting for so long, all these infections, the antibiotics, the leaky gut, the inflammation, that once it started trying to heal itself, they were outnumbered, the healthy cells. And with ASEA, what it did is it just opened up her whole immune system to accept that goodness that ASEA does in communicating. And it got to her brain, it got to her hormones, and it just opened up her whole life. I can't be thankful enough for that meeting with Gary and Iris, and I'm so glad they live in Virginia.
Wow, Maria, that